After a brief absence from Suzuki's lineup, the KingQuad returned in 2005 as the automatic transmission-equipped KingQuad 700. The 700 grew into the 750, and power steering was added in 2009. 2016 brought about styling updates, and the bodywork was modified, allowing easier access to the oil filler and dipstick. The rev limiter and four-wheel drive with differential lock engaged became speed-sensitive versus RPM-sensitive, for increased wheel speed to conquer challenging mud. For 2019, Suzuki has once again dusted off the venerable KingQuad 750 and 500, adding the most significant round of updates since the addition of power steering. Complementing significantly modernized styling for 2019, Suzuki made a number of changes to the ATV to enhance its overall performance and durability, while seemingly making minimal changes to the production process in their Rome, Georgia facility where the KingQuads are manufactured. Suzuki invited us out to the motocross practice facility for Gibbs Racing in North Carolina to put the 2019 power steering and non-power steering equipped KingQuad 750s to a hard day's use on some freshly cut loamy trails and a log-strewn obstacle course. Of course, we had to take a couple of laps around the Gibbs Racing Supercross and Motocross practice tracks, a place we hope to visit again soon with a re-released Quad Racer LTR 450. The KingQuad 750 is powered by a 722cc 4-valve double overhead cam 4-stroke engine, featuring Suzuki fuel injection. The cylinder is canted forward 48 degrees, allowing for a lower seat height and center of gravity. The 4.6-gallon fuel tank is mounted under the seat, adding to the low center of gravity. The engine is mated to an automatic CVT-style transmission with high and low forward ranges plus neutral and reverse, selected by a smooth, precise gated shifter. The drive system features 2- and 4-wheel drive with a lockable front differential, selected by a right-side handlebar-mounted push-button and lever combo. New fuel mapping for 2019 keeps the KingQuad's emissions EPA and California compliant and is said to improve overall performance. To accommodate the machine's 330-pound towing capacity increase and improve overall riding performance, the clutch was recalibrated to deliver more power at all throttle settings. The weights, springs, and driven pulley ramp were changed in search of smoother initial engagement at a higher RPM, increased RPMs on top, and improved engine braking performance. Suzuki added a piston oil jet to the crankcase. It sprays oil on the underside of the piston, increasing cooling and lubrication for improved durability, providing increased oil output for the piston cooling jet and aiding in general engine lubrication. The oil pump's main rotor thickness was increased from 8 to 10 millimeters, boosting pump output from 7.6 to 9.5 liters per minute. The engine fires right up and warms quickly with no quirks, emitting a well-muffled yet strong-sounding throaty roar from its stainless steel exhaust. The engine's performance is mildly improved, accelerating from a dead stop or out of corners at slower speeds. The engine starts pulling smoothly at a slightly higher RPM. Casually cruising along or romping the gas, the engine seems to continue spinning a bit higher in the RPMs than years past. We drag raced to 2018 and 2019 several times, switching riders with mixed results. While the 2019 doesn't appear more powerful than the 2018, the combination of its clutching and new fuel mapping makes the engine a bit snappier and responsive to throttle inputs, in addition to adding a few more RPMs off the bottom for easier towing. The engine runs clean throughout the RPM range, with no annoying popping or sputtering. Low-end power is good and very manageable in technical terrain. When the trail opens up or gets steep, the power builds seamlessly into a respectable mid-range and top end. While it lacks the overwhelming power of the big bore twins, power is adequate for almost any use and far easier to deal with on long rides. Power is ideal for hunting, hauling, or spirited exploring. In its early years, the KingQuad even won its class in the 12 Hours of ATV America endurance race, proving its toughness. Engine braking performance is smooth and natural, and the drivetrain emitted less chatter than some others we've tested. While the frame's geometry remains unchanged, Suzuki made a number of changes to the frame to increase strength, rigidity, and towing capacity. The thickness of the main frame tubes has been increased 0.4 millimeters from 1.6 to 2 millimeters. The mounting brackets for the suspension and drive cases were also reinforced. The KingQuad's rear ball mount has been replaced by a hitch receiver, which along with a reinforced frame, allows for a 330-pound increase in towing to 1,323 pounds. Some riders have complained of oversteering on previous model KingQuads that can make the machine a handful on rough downhills or in rough terrain at high speeds. This was far more pronounced on non-power steering equipped models. For 2019, Suzuki says the base steering characteristics are now tuned for an understeer condition. With no specific front-end geometry changes, Suzuki must have worked to accomplish this with shock and sway bar updates. New gas-charged shocks feature larger diameter bodies and 5-way preload adjustment all around. The front shocks are said to have improved damping settings for better control. Suspension geometry remains the same, with dual A-arms up front delivering 6.7 inches of travel, and dual-arm rear suspension providing 7.7 inches of travel, numbers which are somewhat modest these days. Suzuki utilized a larger diameter rear sway bar with a different shape to increase its rigidity and effectiveness. Softer rear sway bar bushings were used to reduce shock transfer back into the chassis. To further improve control, Suzuki increased the power steering's electrical power output by 40% in search of lighter steering and reduced bump feedback. The quad rolls on 25/8/12 front and 25/10/12 rear Carlisle tires, mounted on cast aluminum wheels on the special edition models and steel wheels on the other models. The KingQuad is a claimed 47.8 inches wide with a 50.6-inch wheelbase, 36.2-inch seat height, and 10.2 inches of ground clearance, putting its size somewhere in the middle for its class. A claimed curb weight of 721 pounds is respectably light for a big 4x4. The updated chassis and suspension retain what was good about the KingQuad's handling. At slow to intermediate speeds, its quick, nimble handling lets you bob and weave your way through tight sections of trail. Steering is light in two-wheel drive, becoming a bit stiffer in limited slip four-wheel drive on the non-power steering equipped model, and even more so with the front differential lock engaged. The power steering equipped model only became stiffer when the front differential was locked, common on all standard four-wheel drive power steering equipped ATVs we've tested. We couldn't tell much difference between the performance of the power steering on the 2018 and 2019 models, although electric power steering adds a lot to the KingQuad's handling, rider control, and will definitely reduce fatigue. If you're considering a KingQuad, we strongly recommend going with a power steering equipped model. The revised shocks and stiffer sway bar result in a mildly calmer KingQuad when things get rowdy, without sacrificing plushness at lower speeds. The shocks are similar to their older counterparts when it comes to eating up roots, rocks, and other trail junk while cruising along. On big G-outs and jump landings, the new shocks don't bottom as easily and seem a bit more composed under braking and on downhills. Both rear tires are a bit more planted in corners, with less front-end dive entering turns and on off-camber descents. The dual hydraulic front disc brakes received new pads, and the lever and line were optimized for better feel. The low-maintenance, sealed multi-disc rear brake received a revised lever ratio for improved feel and overall performance. Braking power was good at both ends. The front brake offered good feel to the lever, but the rear brake still lacks the positive feel of standard disc brakes, although we could lock it up on demand. The overall difference in braking performance for this year is minimal, while its performance is more than adequate. Suzuki said they used a taller handlebar to complement the revised power steering, putting the rider in a more relaxed position. We found the new bar height comfortable and easy to work with. We've always been big fans of Suzuki's plush, easy to move around on T-shaped seat. The floorboards and foot peg combination are the best in the industry, with plenty of room to pivot your foot on the foot peg in rough terrain, even with a little mud buildup. The rear brake pedal height is also right where it should be. In our opinion, steel racks are still the best when it comes to securing cargo, and they don't crack in cold temperatures. The KingQuad's racks feature a wrinkle black painted finish and are rated to haul 66 pounds front and 132 pounds rear. The KingQuad's work capabilities have been taken up a notch for 2019. The new hitch receiver, frame reinforcements, and clutching changes have helped facilitate the KingQuad's 330-pound towing capacity increase to 1,323 pounds. A new rear-mounted, centrally located 4-liter storage box sits adjacent to a left side-mounted 4-liter storage box, in addition to a 2.8-liter water-resistant storage box located in the right front fender. Accompanying the new styling is the wise return of the handlebar-mounted headlight. A revised digital instrument display now features a new font and a programmable service interval reminder icon. To ease maintenance, for 2019, the electronic panel under the seat can easily be removed in under a minute, providing easy access to the fuel filter. While the 2019 KingQuad is certainly not all new, Suzuki obviously did some work building on what riders liked about the 500 and 750, while making some effort to minimize its shortcomings. The updated KingQuad should work harder and last longer than ever, which is great considering those are two of the biggest reasons enthusiasts buy this machine. For recreational trail riding, the updates provide a mild improvement in engine performance and handling prowess, although the die-hard Sport 4x4 fans in us wanted a bit more. For 2019, Suzuki hasn't redefined what the KingQuad 750 was best suited for. If you were a fan of previous KingQuad models, Suzuki has simply given you a bit more of an excuse to pull the trigger on a new ATV. For more information on the 2019 Suzuki KingQuad 750 and their full line of ATVs, log on to suzukicycles.com. If you're hungry for more 4x4 ATV content, we have hundreds of other videos. Keep up with tests on the newest model 4x4 ATVs, project builds, and product reviews by subscribing to ATV On Demand.